think we are in fact recording. All right. This is what I'm calling before Facebook decided that I could not do it. I'm calling it a rhythm rockers.
Yes, I.
And revolution, rhythm rockers, and revolution. So before we begin, let you know this is our third or fourth time trying to do this broadcast / presentation. For some reason, Facebook would not let us go live today.
I think it was the fifth time.
Yeah.
This is now the sixth.
Oh, wow. So lots of technical difficulties. And so Baba Dorman has been very patient with us. So we're going to go ahead into it. So as part of Chanting Down Babylon Sunday, I want to talk about options in terms of living where we live. We want to talk about the global community that we're a part of. We want to talk about having a vision perhaps we've never had before. And, believe, like we talk about believing in the Most High, believing in God, or whatever you want to call it. But very often do we actually take leaps of faith to prove that. And I think there's even one of those scriptures in the Helios Biblos, this book of the sun. The Bible, where I think Christ talked about, you're wondering if God is going to take care of you, and he takes care of everything, even the birds and the lowest of animals are taken care of. Why would you worry about God taking care of you? So we have to show a little bit of that faith sometimes and exercise that. And
yes, man.
Yeah, not live in fear. So I guess you're having a little internet challenge down in Belize.
A whole heap going on around here.
So Belizeans say
whole.
They say the H. Belizeans say the H.
A whole heap.
Yeah. So man say all. No H exists.
No H.
No H, man.
A whole heap. Yes.
Whole heap thing there. So let me give
yes, brother.
Brother Dorman a little big up, little introduction. So I am a wannabe expatriate, and I'm not gonna call. Okay, let's cut it right to the chase. An expatriate is an immigrant. For some reason, people from Western countries go to other countries. They expats. They're expatriates, not immigrants. Well, I'm an immigrant coming to Belize, humbling myself. I have land and setting up some farming and some businesses kind of thing going on there. And so when I was there last time checking on my projects, I met this good brethren sitting down in the restaurant, having a good fried jack. Having a Lee fried jack, a Lee Belizean breakfast.
That was my son having the fried jack, brother. And trust me, when we left and my wife asked him if he shared any fried jack, he was like, "Oh, I didn't know anybody else wanted some."
Yep. So a typical Belizean breakfast, I think I had beans and eggs and fried jack and fruit. And so I don't know what it was, but I think I started a conversation with the brethren and found out that he and his family are doing what I wish to do, except he's from Belize. And so we had a good conversation, just like it was such a beautiful, like that's one thing about Belize, man, it's just like sometimes the beauty and the relaxation is just, it's just nice, man. And the weather was beautiful. So we ended up having a conversation. It felt like 30 minutes, but it was an hour or two, or maybe, I don't know. He ended up having to get up to go be with his wife before she came over and smacked him. So
good
of course,
vibes, man. It was good vibes.
In the modern age, we exchange social media info. And that day I met you was the Sunday where that I'm not going to curse, went into the supermarket in Buffalo, New York, and shot up the place, right? And shot up the place on that day. That was that same day, right? And so it's been 2 weeks since then, and we've had another deadly shooting here in the U.S. So this kind of heightens for me the urgency to be like, yo, why are we here? And I'm asking myself the same question because I'm broadcasting right now from the United Snakes of Babylon. But I have a couple other folks we want to have conversations with who are living in other places around the world, Black folks who have just had enough and have decided to make a go of it somewhere else. So, good brother Dorman, if you could, introduce yourself, give a little bit of information about your history.
Right on.
History, not history, history.
My history, history.
How you expatriate back to Belize.
Well, first of all, thank you, Baba, for having me on the show. It is truly an honor. Just a little bit of my history. I was born in Belize and moved to, specifically born in Dangriga, but I was raised in Belize City. And my parents moved us to Los Angeles, California, when I was 13, almost 14, which was at the time at the height of the gang warfares and the crack epidemic. And so, when we were crossing the border, my dad told me that there were two things that he did not want me to get involved in: drugs and gangs. Well, I didn't become a gang member. I did associate with gang members, and I did become a drug dealer. And so I ended up, going to jail and, getting shot. And to this day, I have 29 shotgun pellets still in my body that remind me that I'm here by grace. And, after that, after getting shot and getting into some trouble, I realized, and going to jail really was a pivotal point in my life. Going to jail was when I, realized that I needed to get my act together and really come back to trusting in the Lord. And so I asked to be released from that life. And man, it was like, it's amazing when you're serious with God and you ask God to deliver you from something. It was like where I changed communities. My mom moved us out to another community. And then after that, I started having different opportunities where I became a gospel, a promotional director for a gospel label. I got back into the word, and God just opened up doors for me. And I ended up going back to jail. Like, what was that? Like 18 years later, when the jails went privatized. Apparently, they needed to make some money, so they were filing cases like 20 years back, and I was caught up in that. But I felt like that was my fault because I wasn't being fully responsible for my life, even though I had changed my life and now I was a productive member of society. There is still, the issue of not having a driver's license. So I bought vehicles and, driving around without a driver's license, not obeying the law of the land. And so I got pulled over, and they said that I was a fugitive from the state of New Mexico. So got locked up and extradited. But coincidentally, here's the thing though. Again, here's God working. The night before I went to jail, I was working with a life coach, and I was a personal trainer in LA, training a few celebrities and, some really wealthy people. And thankfully I had, informed them of my past. So this was no surprise when I went to jail. But my life coach said to me, "What do you think it is that's holding you back from the success that I see for you?" And I said, "Well, there's this thing in New Mexico that, happened when I was a teenager. I think it's over because of the statute of limitations. And, but I would like to know that it's over. Watch out, boy. Next day, I'm driving down Hollywood and Vine, and I never go down Hollywood and Vine to train my client. But for whatever reason, I guess I was feeling good. I had a Michael Franti playing in my brand new truck, and watch out, boy, I had a bicycle police pull up behind me. I'm stuck in, if you've ever been to Hollywood and Vine or been to Hollywood and travel on Hollywood and Vine on the weekend, it's like bumper to bumper traffic. And man, I got pulled over by a bicycle cop right out. By the time my bicycle cop tapped on my window.
No, did they joke you
that
like, yo, you got pulled over by a bike cop?
Watch out. It was embarrassing. It was a bit embarrassing, but when they took my truck but didn't take me to jail, I thought, oh wow, maybe New Mexico is over. And even though it was embarrassing, when my client came to pick me up, it was almost like a scene out of a movie, brother, because the street went from packed and busy to empty, and to have my friend pull up in his brand new convertible, it was a red convertible SL Mercedes-Benz 500, and man, I was like, oh, okay, it's not so bad then. My truck get taken and I get picked up in a nice ride. And, he said, this too shall pass. And so, I ended up going to jail, and, I did. They locked me up for a year, for 364 days, no good time, no work release, despite the fact that I had letters from an executive from ABC, some clients that I had, business owners who were vouching for my character, some actors that I was training at the time, and they still felt like they needed to lock me up. But I had said that I needed to get away. I needed to go and get some dormant time. So, I switched that quickly from why me, why now, to okay, this is a great opportunity to reinvent myself and to really get focused on what it is my contribution is to the world. What am I giving back to society? And so while I was locked up, yeah.
This is specifically for my best friend, if you're watching. I had been talking about one of the reasons why I really want to leave this country is because, and I think my sister asked me yesterday if I talk about all the bad in this country. She said, have you ever felt like that? Like oppressed? I'm like, yes, I'm a Black man in America.
Yep.
At every turn, I feel like when I walk out of my door, it's an obstacle not to get locked up. It's like, you step out of line here, you step out of line there, you do this, you do. It's like they're looking for every opportunity to lock us up.
Every opportunity.
Every Mickey Flicky, and I told the story about I just, even under threat of, what is it? A fine or imprisonment if you don't go to jury duty. You're gonna lock me up for not going to jury duty? Like, yo, come on. I have a friend who PhD school principal was driving home one day and her phone thing fell off the thing. So she was actually holding the phone. And it was in a jurisdiction where if you hold your phone and drive, it's a misdemeanor, but you get a ticket, right? So she got the misdemeanor, and young kids doing whatever. She forgot to go to the court date. They put a body attachment warrant out for her arrest. Came and got her. No, she found out about it, then turned us off. And she still had to spend a day in jail for having a cell phone. And most Black men have had some little thing they have to deal with, or little thing you have to deal with.
Yeah,
and
man.
So, I've been in that situation too. I've been there, but never overnight, right? And I feel like there's so many opportunities in this world, where they're trying to put us in jail. And so it's like I said, this country is punitive. It's nothing about what's right or balanced and fair or real rehabilitation. It's punitive. And so I just want to put a little footnote there, you know, for folks that are watching and that really don't understand how it feels, just the stress of feeling like no matter what you do, you could go to jail for something in this country. So you forget to pay your car insurance. I get pulled over. It's just crazy. So, all right, I'm sorry. Unpause.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. They're coming to get us, and by Malcolm X talked about by any means necessary. We should, work on. I'm just gonna add this piece by any means necessary that we should figure out what we need to do to come to as a people, because man, divide and conquer is real. And so like I went to jail and I did my time, but while I was there, thankfully I changed my life. So now I was a personal trainer, I was a yoga teacher and meditation teacher. And so that's what I did, and all these that I was housed in until I got out. I realized young men would not have been exposed to yoga, from someone who was like them, I guess, same color or a minority, so to speak, even though we now know that we're the majority. But, to be able to teach yoga to those young men it was a blessing. And it helped me to like write out my business plan while I was in there, get clear about what I was going to do when I got out, which, I look back on those notes now and I'm just blown away, that I've done a lot of what I wrote down that I was going to do while I was locked up. And, I got out and I did another yoga training, which is where I met my wife, who's from Canada. And when we met, we moved here to Belize for about a year and a half. Our first daughter was born here, and we couldn't really give it a good go here because we were teaching yoga, and I was trying to do some boot camps, and the folks were like, "Oh, $5? What? $5 too expensive?" I said, "What?" So we were out of here, and I went back to Canada. We opened up a beautiful yoga and cycling facility called Breathe. And then right when things were on the rise, COVID hit. So we had to shut that down. And then after that, when they were starting to do mandates and everything and locking us up, we were like, we'd much rather go live in Belize. At least we can have some sense of freedom, because where we're from Saskatoon, and it gets bone cold in Saskatoon. So instead of being locked up all winter, which coincidentally, it just started warming up in Saskatoon recently, about a week ago. So that's how long the winters are.
Now, when you say warm
we decided
up, you're
that
talking about 30s or 40s. What are you talking about when you say warm up?
I'm talking about probably 15, and we're talking Celsius. So
right,
like
so that's
15,
like 60 degrees, something like that. Okay.
Yeah. If even that. Right. And so, we thought, we'd much rather be in a place where we can at least go outside and enjoy the fresh air and, Mother Nature, instead of being locked up in a house because, it's too cold to go outside. Granted, I snowshoe in the wintertime, but as I get older, I don't really want to put on all that gear. I just want to rock my flip-flops and my shorts and just walk outside. So that was the determining factor for us to come back, and also that we didn't have a brick and mortar tying us down. We were scat-free. We sold our vehicles, sold everything in the house that we could sell. What we couldn't sell, we put in storage in my in-laws' acreage. And we bought plane tickets, and we were out of there. So yeah, I kind of went around the loop there, but that's about
that was a good
back
loop
to Belize, man. And
that's a good loop. So
man, I'm happy we did, man.
Can you hear me? I think we got a little technical difficulties again. Can you hear me?
No, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. So
yeah,
even though you're, can you hear me? Yeah, got you. So even though you're from Belize, you've been gone, majority of your life. You said 13 is when you went to the States. Mm-hmm. You lived in, California.
13 when
Arizona,
I went to the States.
Right. And then Canada. So
California, New Mexico.
Right, New Mexico. Okay. And so you, I'm not going to say threw caution to the wind, but you basically liquidated everything and said, let's go. So what was some, now I guess it's different because your wife had been already, so she really wasn't fearful of things. But
dude, my wife, I gotta say, no, I was just gonna say that my wife is a ride or die, man. Like, that woman will go wherever I go. Like, I mean, when you talk about for richer, for poor, like, man, that woman is just, she's a blessing, truly a blessing from God, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So she was actually the one who gave me the ultimatum. She actually gave me an ultimatum because I had just started this new company called IB, Indigenous and Black Economic Empowerment. And so my idea with that was to, have a artist management component in there, and then personal development consultation and business consulting. And so I was just starting to, I had a couple clients that were interested in signing with me. And so I didn't want to leave. I was like, let me just get the company started and then we can go. And I still remember the day, man. I was dressed up going to a meeting and she stopped me at the door and she's like, just let me know what we're going to do. If we're going to stay, I'm going to unpack and we'll make it happen. But if we're going to go, I'm going to buy our tickets today and we can leave before the 30th. I was like, fuck, if I say no and we get stuck here, I'll be in a lot of shit. So I was like, let's do it. And man, funny. I'm so happy.
I have a few friends I've met online that are from Canada, Black folks who have come to Belize and now want to move here. But they're like, Canada's travel requirements and the US's travel requirements, as opposed to being vaccinated, this, and the third, is very restrictive. So it seems like Canada is a bit more restrictive than the US is in terms of freedoms of movement.
Bro, we are not vaccinated. And so for us to go back to Canada, any Canadian to go back to Canada, we have to download I forgot what the app is called, but you have to download a Return Canada app, I think it is. And if you don't download the app, you're not allowed entry. Wow. So it's wild, man.
Which passport do you carry?
I carry both.
Both. So US or Belizean?
Belize and Canadian.
Okay. All right. That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think you can import stuff or do stuff that the regular folks can't do, I don't think, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah. So did your wife or children have any apprehension about moving back?
Oh no, man. They were, because my oldest daughter was born here. And I think everything, ever since she could comprehend, my wife kept telling her, oh, we're going to go back to Belize. I can't wait to take you so you can see where you were born. And, when our second one was born, that conversation still kept going. And, my oldest would rub it in his face that, it's just dad and I that were born in Belize. We're the Belizean Canadians. And, and
yeah, your daughter
and the little one
very
was born, and all the conversation.
She's very protective of you. She was standing there a good portion of the time we were talking. Yeah. How old is she?
Yeah. That's my girl, man. My oldest?
Yeah.
Yep, she's 12.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then the baby is 5, and then our son is 11.
No
Yeah.
daddy's little girl. That's
So
good.
no, they were actually, yeah, man. We
Women's
have a delay,
bandwidth
don't
is
we?
low. Yeah, you might have to just switch to audio only for a minute. Let's finish talking. Turn your camera off. I think that should make it better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. You
Okay.
there?
So, yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me
Okay.
now?
Yep.
I have this Wi-Fi booster, so I'm not sure why it's tripping.
Yeah.
But no, they were ready to come back, man.
So
There was no apprehension about them
no
coming
apprehension.
back.
Well, now what about your friends or anything? Anybody like, hey man, Belize is dangerous. Are people asking you anything like that?
No, no one's asking me anything like that because I knew what Belize was like, and I knew we knew where we wanted to come and live. And the village that we're in, Hopkins, is, man, it is so awesome. Um, we go to Belize City, get groceries, and head right back to the village. Like, we don't linger around in Belize City. And I have a uncle and cousins and friends who live in Belize City, who I visit. But it's just in and out for the most part when we go to Belize City.
So what is it that you go to Belize City to shop for?
There's some grocery items that my wife can't find here in the village or in Dangriga.
Okay.
And then some clothing for the kids that we can't, really get shipped because, man, we had someone send my kids some craft stuff that they bought from the dollar store. So the total of it was like $24. And the tax that we had to pay was ridiculous. It was like $17 tax for, items that were like $24. And it was clearly marked that it was $24. And
wow,
so
40,
we were like,
40,
yeah.
40%, what is it, tariff or whatever it is?
Tariff, yeah. So the guy at the post office said, oh, the government got to get their money. I said, no shit. Oh, can I swear on here?
Too late now. Hey, you know what? As a person that is coming to your beautiful country, I will say this: I would rather pay 40% tariff on items I do not need than to pay 40% of my full income in the United States, because there's no representation, and it sure enough is taxation, but there's no representation. So I would rather pay that on stuff that I only need every now and again than 40% on every damn thing. Excuse my French.
Yeah. Well, let me know. We can talk off the record after this, because I'm just going into business with a buddy of mine who helps with taxation and get you started with a business and everything, and you don't even have to be here.
Yeah. A Belizean, is it 501 or 203? Some corporation.
Yeah.
Because
whatever you want.
Yep, I am going to do I'm doing and so that is definitely something I was looking into for the end of the year. I don't want to have for my own tax purposes. I don't want this year. I don't want to be controller of a foreign bank account. So next year is when I'm going to make sure all that stuff is in place. But I don't want to have to report anything to IRS right now, because I don't want to mess with the IRS, because they will put you in jail.
This is true, but how we can do it where we can do it where you're sheltered. But that's we can talk about that.
Yeah, we definitely not going to talk about it on camera.
No.
Yes.
No.
So basically, man, you're not selling my story, man, because I've got a lot of friends that are like thinking the world is going to Belize is this and it's dangerous, and oh my God, Russia is going to attack. and take over
Wow.
Belize. Like,
Wow.
so many fearful things my friend talk about. And and so, and some of them aren't as really world traveled, I will say that. You know, may have a cruise here and there and go to a resort in a place here and there, but not really come to countries like, you know, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Belize, you know, the place where the US State Department tells us not to go is very dangerous.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I found that people all over the world are basically exactly the same. I mean, you could go to Russia right now and it would look like a suburb of the US. I mean, it's crazy. Like, um, we're all human beings. We're searching. We'll enjoy the same things. We enjoy good food. We enjoy music. We enjoy fellowship. Um, some things operate differently, you know, in
Yeah,
terms
yeah.
of how some things are. But most people are just people. I mean, people have commerce. There's food everywhere around the planet. I mean, you got to worry about not eating food. Everyone else has healthcare, and as a matter of fact, the United States isn't even in the top 10 of healthcare providers, or you know, countries with the best healthcare around the planet. I mean, so all the excuses people make, you know, I want to talk to other folks who have also traveled to different places and understand that there's a big world out there, and that we don't have to be, you know, in the ice box of Saskatchewan. How do you say that?
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan. You know, we don't have to stay in the ice box of
Yeah.
Saskatchewan and stay under what's the prime minister in Canada?
Trudeau. Justin
Trudeau. Yeah,
Trudeau.
yeah. Just we don't have to stay under the tyranny of Justin Trudeau or, you know, anybody else for that matter. That we are global people and have the right to make connections and to travel and to, you know, have those experiences. It's all about choices. It's all about choices. So let's talk about some of the negative things. What are, other than having to travel to Belize City to get
Mhm.
certain select groceries? And for everybody who's not been to Belize, Belize is the size of New Jersey. Folks like to say it's the size of Massachusetts, but if you check it out, it's actually close to the size of New Jersey. And
Yeah, yeah.
Dangriga and Hopkins, Placentia, St. Bite, Punta Gorda. The further down you go south, you know, the more melanated it gets. And so
Mhm.
basically what he's talking about driving to Belize City, it's like driving from the Jersey shore to Philadelphia or Atlantic City. I mean, it's an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not a big deal. But, you know, back when I was younger, people would drive to New York to get fashionable clothes all the time. That's 3-4 hour drive. But so
Right.
what are some of the other obstacles that you've run into in moving abroad?
Well, things are definitely slowed down here. You know, it's a different it's a different mentality here when it comes to the business, you know. And as an entrepreneur, you know, I love working with other entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I came to the point where I was like, you know what? Uh, I'm like, and you know, I say this humbly, I'm like light years ahead of you guys. And one of my friends in Belize City said to me, you know, boy, that Belize, you know, you have to kind of like come back down and meet the Belizean people down at their level, because, you know, they're way up there. So I need to try to get the people up there. And then people even have no idea what it's like to be up there. So in order for you to help them, you have to come back down. And then I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then after working with a couple entrepreneurs and just seeing how, like, man, to not have a POS system, to not even have not even have a cash draw to separate the money, to not even have inventory. I was like, Lord have mercy. I need to just focus on me. And you know, I came to the conclusion that me trying to help them was a form of procrastination of me taking care of what I need to take care of here. So I've since like left that alone. And you know, they've been doing what they've been doing for years. It's been working fine
Mm-hmm.
for them. who the hell am I to try to like bring them up to speed and, teach them to not be like everyone else, but to blaze a new trail, because shit, they are not blazing a new trail, but they're perfectly fine walking on that path that's already been mapped out.
Let me tell you something. I had the same realization. So you guys came down what, September, October, November?
November.
November. Okay. So you've been boots on grounds for seven months now. And I had been working with Belizeans to develop this property and these projects since July, right? So it was some of the most frustrating times as a businessman and as a construction contractor to work with, Lee Bushman to do things around there for me. So I
got a story about that too, boy.
I had to slow down, right? Because here's what I had to realize. I want to leave a world where it's fast paced and you never have a chance to even breathe, right? I often say we are human beings who should just be able to be for a while. Just be, not do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're so focused on the doing that we forget to breathe, we forget to be, right? So I said, come on, you want to just be. Why are you bringing the mentality of fast, and without even enjoying life? Why do you want to bring that mentality to your new life? Like, I don't. So I had to say, you know what? That's right. Let me get into the groove of the Belize. You know what I mean? Let me get into that mind state, not bring my mind state there. Now, there's some things that I help out with. And let me give an example. So I had my guys. So, I was there. We cleared a bunch of land for the orchard. And so we bought a bunch of trees. And so I told my guys how I want them laid out. So they were planting the trees after right before we get rain. So we've been getting rain this last week. So I told them to dig the hole big enough for a 5-gallon bucket. I have a lot of sort of clay-like soil. So I said, mix up some chicken manure, a shovel of sand and some stones, along with the native soil, put in some brush material, because it's a bush, so it's got plenty of debris like to put in with it. And then I said, mulch. I said, mulch. I said, mulch around the tree, right?
Uh-huh.
So you're familiar with seeing a tree mulch. It'll be a tree. It'll be a nice mound of mulch around it, right?
Yes.
A nice mound of mulch around it. You know how we like to see on the pretty manicured lawns. Man, these brothers took about 4 or 5 branches and some bit of leaves and threw around it. I'm about to crack up.
Wow, that was the mulch.
And the concept of mulching around the tree. Because everything in Belize grows so quick, right? So, but here's how I had to explain to them that now it's, the sun is getting ready to be hot. And I got these little seedlings out in the middle of this area we just cut down with no shade. I said, so we want to, and it's not like I have running water there, right? So I said, we want to give these trees opportunity to grow. So what mulching does, 6 to 8 inches of mulch around it. It gives opportunity for, worms and other little organisms to start living in the soil, because soil, not dirt, soil for plants needs aeration, right? Soil roots need air as well as water. And a highly impacted or a highly clay soil is not going to allow you the air you really need, the oxygen, the aerobic activity for the microorganisms, which begin to grow and improve the health of your soil. So that also that layer will decompose and it becomes a self fertilizing system with mulch. And so even though, and they do that in parts of Belize, they call it chop and drop, and they do it with the Inga trees down south in Toledo, that these guys, because unfortunately the Western world has come into other parts of the country, in parts of the world, and taught them to use chemicals and not rely on natural ways of, healing the land and of doing farming. And so it was like I was reintroducing them to technology that that I know they know in Belize. The Maya do it down south, but they just weren't thinking like that. They were thinking in terms of chemicals and stuff like that. And that's not, I'm not doing any chemicals on my property. So yeah, so it's stuff like that. I get it. Like some of it is useful. Like helping a company be able to keep an inventory clearly is useful. But the rush thing and the highly efficient kind of mentality, I think we need to actually, like the brethren say, come down to where they are. And it's an even exchange of things, not, oh, what I do is better necessarily.
Yeah. You know, because in order for them to be receptive, we have to, what he was in terms of my profession as a consultant, it's like, you know, you say, okay, what you've done is great. Now, let me help you to take that to the next level. You know, but, you know, even that, man, was, you know, for me, you know, I don't know, maybe I was bringing my Western mentality, you know, of like, let's make shit happen. Let's do this, you know?
Yeah.
But the other frustrating thing and the other thing to be aware of is these contractors who can do everything. They can build your house, they can build your septic, they can build your fence, you know, and like my mistake was, you know, just like becoming friends with the guy, or, you know, like allowing the guy to get close to me. And it's like every other day he was asking me for money. You know, I was managing this fence construction for my aunt. And, you know, when I realized that we were over budget, and I was like, dude, we're like way over budget, man. And, you know, we were supposed to put a fence in, and he was supposed to finish the project. Bottom line is, man, you just got to make sure that one, they have a license, and, you know, check their references, because these folks are like shiesty, man. They will like get your money and be ghost. And if you don't have a written agreement with them, there ain't nothing you can do. I mean, this guy made me wanted to go gangster on him, but, you know, I'm not a gangster anymore. You know, I never really was a gangster, but, you know, I just felt like, man, like I could just knock your head off. And, you know, you came into my home and pretended to be my friend, and when I call you on your shit, then you know, you ghost me, and, you know, so disrespectful, you know, as a human being. And so I had to, you know, like remember that my years of practicing yoga and meditation, and, you know, recognizing everyone as a child of God, and, you know, leave him to his own karmic energy that he has to deal with whenever that time comes.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, that's not a Belize thing, man. That's a contractor thing. That is universal. That is in the business, period. Because we have the same thing here, and I'm sure you have the same thing in Canada. Everybody makes promises, and that's why you need somebody like me to manage a project. 30 plus years of construction management experience. And so if anyone is listening and I'm managing a project remotely, please get the advice of a professional in the business. It could be an architect, it can be a construction manager like myself, or someone that you trust. And don't take anyone's word for it. References, independent references, photos, stuff like that. I mean, because even to be honest with you, man, even if you have a license, doesn't mean you're still not gonna get burnt. Because an example, you have a license. Let's say the guy took $1,000, right? Okay, you go to court. Who says he's going to show up? He gets a judgment for $1,000. How you going to collect it? Like, it's not enough money to even really hire a lawyer for, right? So sometimes it's a lesson learned. You never give. So here's what I did. So I'm a whole continent away, right? So I took references from my neighbors for guys that do like landscaping and small little stuff, small work. And I would give them a little bit of work to do. I'd say, here, go chop this bush, go do this, and I would see how well they were able to do it. And, you know, I would send them money. via Western Union or whatever. And so I went through a couple of guys, and finally the guy I've been working with for the last 6-7 months, well, not more than 7 months now. It's July, 10 months, 11 months. Wow. I gave him increasingly more and more responsibility, and that works for a project like mine, which is a large project. But sometimes it's building those relationships with people. And so did someone refer this guy to you?
Well, he actually came to my house with another guy that we had working on our septic. And I should have seen, and I should have listened to the signs when he was like, oh, that guy's doing it, so and so is doing that job that way. I would have done it this way. He doesn't know what he's doing. Like, just bad mouthing the guy who brought him to work at my place. And and then he befriended me really quickly, like, even like, let me use his motorcycle, like he was just like, he was committed.
Yeah,
he was committed
to that. I would say of course, Belizeans think that anyone that comes from and a lot of other local folks, if you're moving from the States or Canada or anywhere else, they will automatically assume that we have a lot of money. But they'll befriend you to, of course, take opportunity at that if it arises. So yeah, you do. I guess the lesson is not just about construction, period, because that's not a Belizean thing. Beware of people who might be too soon. Like, get to know people.
And I have to be clear, though, Kamal, that this was not a brother. I have to be clear that this was not, a brother. This was like a Mayan. And I feel like I need to stress that, because it's always saying that, it's us blacks that are doing this stuff. So I just want to be clear that this was not one of my Garifuna brothers or one of my Creole brothers. This was one of my Mayan brothers.
What I've actually found is that it was the same with me. Like, the first guy I hired was a Mayan guy. He would show up for work for 2 days, want to get paid, and then disappear for 2 days. So you see, and he would be drunk or whatever. So people are people, right?
Yeah.
But what I have not found, unless I go down to Punta Gorda, I've not really found Black people, melanated people, that really do this kind of work up in the Cayo district. It's a lot of Maya, a lot of Hispanic, but I haven't found a lot of us that do this kind of work. Like I said, unless I go down south, where do you find a lot of Creole or Garifuna that do construction type work in Hopkins or Dangriga?
I've seen one guy who built a little restaurant and bar next door, but that was like throwing up a wood shack in like a matter of 2-3 weeks.
But that's doing. He's doing his own work.
He was building it for someone. He was hired to build it. And so I went over there and spoke to him. He's like, yeah, man, I build houses. I do everything. And so that's one brother that I met that says he does it. But again, I've only seen the little bar shack that he built next door, and I was just impressed with how quickly he put that thing together.
Okay. So are you on the main street, the back street? Where are you at?
I'm on the main street on the beach, like my backyard. I walk out our double doors and I have the view of the ocean.
Are you past Maxims?
And inspiring.
Are you past Maxims or what's the bar? Ella's Cool Spot?
Oh, that's way too far. I'm like closer to where you were staying when I met you.
Oh, okay. So you're on the north side of Hopkins.
I'm on the north side, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like about a minute away from the police station.
Okay. If that's what we're going to call that.
Ironic, right? Exactly. Man, I look forward to the day man, when I have the funds to go and help fix that building up and get them
Yeah, but
some new electronics in there,
yeah, but
and also, like, I was just gonna say also, help the kids get some soccer cleats and some soccer gear for their
yeah.
competition. Because man,
Well, man, let me know if you could find a way that some of that stuff can be imported in without the duty. You know, maybe we could try to do something. I would love to do some charity for Hopkins, man. That's my spot. I really wanted to live in Hopkins, but you know,
mhm,
I love the beach, but I'm really a mountain guy. So
I
it
hear
didn't
you.
work out. But what I do want to do is I would love to have a have a little spot down there. And here's what I mean. So the north part of Hopkins, I love it, right?
Mhm,
Because
mhm.
it's the family area. So what I was telling
Yes.
people is like on a Friday in Belize, there's no real club to go to. You might have Ella's and some other beach bars, but people come outside. The community comes outside. They turn the music up. They start grilling. They
Yes.
start partying outside in the street, conversations, neighbors talking. It's a beautiful thing. And
Oh.
I love that vibe, like, right? But of course, a lot of the
Mhm, mhm.
houses are they struggle.
Yeah, the
You know,
struggle, boy.
a lot of the local house is just really a wooden box
That's it.
with a sink on the top and a toilet and no air conditioning, no real windows. And so,
Yeah.
but they're yards, right? So in Jamaica, this thing called a yard, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
The family yard, right? You know, come
Yes,
a yard,
yes.
right? Come a yard and drink and So that thing of a yard is in Belize. It's the family land. And then you got the cousin that built a house and the niece that built a house and granny's house is
Yes,
right here.
yes.
Right? They have yards there.
Yes, yes.
And I
And the
love that.
yard they're full of mango tree.
What? You don't want for food nowhere. You go and fish,
Boy.
come back in the I love that. Like, you know what Maxim's is?
Yes, man.
Yeah. You go to Maxim's and the fisherman is out there bringing the catch in from early morning fishing, selling the
Yes,
fish right there
man.
on the beach. Maxim could fry it up, grill it up right. Yo, I love that freshness. So what I thought one day what I want to do is like, once I meet people, know people like, look, I will renovate your house. Just let me build a little apartment upstairs.
That's it, right?
Teamwork. But
Yeah, man.
yeah,
It's
because
possible.
I don't want to live there. I just want to be able. Let me run down to the beach without, even though I'm an hour and 15 minutes door to door, even less
Yeah.
really, hour and five door to Hopkins, and that's nothing
Man,
compared to
you're
what
deep.
huh?
I say you're deep because so you're past Belmopan, right?
No, I'm right before Belmont.
Oh, then man, that's not an hour 15. Like on the
That's because
motorcycle to go to Belmopan, it takes me
I
like,
don't drive crazy.
sure boy.
I know,
You must
man. Me
you
not
must see the drive
speeding.
like an old man, my
Yo,
brother.
me not going around no truck rolling back over to get in front of him. I'm not
What?
dead. Yeah,
Uh, them
I
ballad
drive
did
like an
that
old
way too often.
I drive like an old
Them
man, man.
ballad them
I'm
ballad
not.
pass you just to make.
Go ahead, pass me all you want. You're not gonna find me in one of those ditches.
Watch out.
You know what trips me out? You know what trips
Watch
me
out,
out is
them ballad.
the road coming into Hopkins, right? I tell my friends, I said, it's like a mile or two of wetlands, right? Before you get into the city, just a mile or two of
Mhm.
wetlands. And I said, if your car run off the road and them wetlands, it's boy crocodile in there.
Yes, man. Watch out.
I ain't, yeah, I be driving nice and slow on that stretch of road. Like I'm not gonna mess with those crocodiles. But
Yeah, yeah.
all right, good brother. This was a good conversation.
Yeah, man. Thank you for
We're
having
gonna
me.
go ahead, see if you can turn your camera back on now. See if it works. All right, look like the sun set in Belize. So any parting comments for those who may be struggling with the concept, even the concept of leaving a Western country to come to a developing or emerging economy? Any final thoughts or words of encouragement on that?
I would say take a leap of faith. You know, if you need to pray to an external God, know that you're praying to a false God. Pray to the God that's in you. That way you got some true direction. You got some gut feeling direction. And I would say just make it happen, because it will be one of the best decisions that you make if you have a family, for yourself and your family. If it's just you, it'll be one of the best decisions that you made, because you can really enjoy nature. So I would say just make it happen. Don't procrastinate.
Yeah, I mean, again, Western world sells itself as the best thing on the planet, but everybody got everything. I mean, like I said, I don't like here. I could pick up my phone, I could get Uber Eats, and I can have Indian cuisine. I can have Japanese. I can have all that to my door in 45 minutes. Belize ain't that.
But Hopkins, you can walk like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you can have some good island food. You can sit down and eat on the beach, my brother, and watch drink a nice cold Bellican if you're drinking beer. I've since backed off from the Bellican. Since I've been here, I've seen that the other day, my daughter looked at my stomach. I wasn't wearing my shirt. She was like, "Dad, what's that?" And I was like, "What's what?"
Boy, I ain't got no belly. I got the belly right here. That's why I want to come to get rid of this belly. But yeah, I mean, so the West sells itself as, you know, the best thing since sliced bread. And there are modern conveniences. I give it to you. But, you know, people ask me, what are you doing today? Oh, I'm out in my garden. I'm doing my plants. What are you doing tomorrow? Oh, I'm out in my garden. One day after that, oh, I'll be out in my garden. So for a person like me, you know, who I'm a homebody, right? I love, you know, family events, coming to the house, playing cards. You know, I used to love to go to the movies before COVID, and I used to go to a nice happy hour. But Belize is slow. Even though it's slow, I'm good. I don't need all that. I don't need all that stuff in my life. I just want to feel like if I don't pay my taxes, if I don't show up for jury duty, if I don't do something crazy, I'm not going to end up in jail. I'm not going to get shot by a cop. And I tell people the property taxes on my land, 15 acres, is you know, less than $100 a year. So the first $110,000 of earned income as a U.S. living abroad is tax free. So if I go to Belize and can do a computer job or whatever, make good money, the first $110,000 is tax free. So when I tell people it's not just beautiful, it's actually an economic advantage if you can go, not Belize, but anywhere, go outside the U.S. Your first $110,000 as a non-resident is tax free. Can't beat that. Yeah. But brother, it was definitely a blessing, man. I look forward to continuing the communication. Again, let me know what we can do for the youths, them with football and cleats and all them.
Yes, man. But well, I'll talk to the new.
Go ahead.
I'll talk to the new chairman, and because he's also one of the coaches. I'll talk to the new chairman and the coach himself, and then figure out what they need. And man, I would love to surprise them, and then introduce you to them so they they know where it's coming from, because it is greatly needed.
Look, I have a whole heap of brethren that see what I'm doing, and they want to come down with me in a couple of months. So, and very charitable, very good-hearted people. So yeah, look into that for real, because if we can avoid that 40% duty, it will go a long way for doing something for the youths, man. So I don't know if you have a church or something.
I'm sure the chairman can help us.
Yeah. So the village elections
I'm sure
happened.
the chairman will figure it out.
The village council elections happened when I was there. Same guys won, right?
Yeah, the young guy won, man.
Oh, really? Okay.
The young guy won. Yeah. So,
good,
he's talking a lot about, helping the youth. So I want to get in there and see if I can help him. So this would be like a great way for us to help them with the youth and, get the youth on board to do more stuff in the community. And yeah.
Man, we'll have to do another call one day when the sun is up. I want to know what's outside of that window. I miss the beach. I miss the trees.
All right. Well, this is my son's bedroom. So outside there, that's the street out back. But
okay, that's the street.
You can still see a little bit of beach.
Okay. Is that your special agent?
That's my special agent right there.
Yes, yeah. She's not gonna remember me, I guess. Oh man, look at that. Look at that. That's what's up, bro. Man. I love it. All right, I'm gonna catch a plane right.
So there's that little, you see that little bar down there? That's
yeah.
What guy built that. You see that?
Yeah.
And then we have another one here next door, just outside my bedroom. So this is a little restaurant down here. They're closed today, but
yeah, I think that bar, the one on the other side. What's the name of that? I've been there before. The one on the other side. What is it called? I'm sorry, you broke up.
Oh, this one over here?
Yeah, what is that one called?
That one's called Semantic.
Oh no, that's not the one.
What's translated?
Yeah, I went to one place where they had the Garifuna drumming right there on the beach. It's on the north side.
Driftwood.
Driftwood. Yep.
Driftwood.
Yep. What direction is that from you? Is that
the best?
What?
That direction.
Is it rainy there? Was it raining today?
No, it might later on. It's just really windy.
That's what's up. No air conditioning needed.
Why? Nothing, my brother. You need to come back home, brother.
Yeah, I'll come soon. Come soon, my brother. All right, brother. I appreciate you. I guess we're running on about an hour now, so
absolutely.
I know people can drop off. But I respect, cool. Man, and one love.
All right, easy.
All right,
respect, brother. Bless up, man. Right. Easy.